Okay, so when I first seen it, in my mind, I was like, yes, somebody finally bringing reality to the front, to the to the scene, because everyone seems to dance around this radical agenda, but I find few candidates who are willing to just put it up front and say, hey, look, these guys are crazy.
No, you're absolutely right, and I've been fighting this battle for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Now I'm centrally located in downtown Denver, so I have a front row seat to what is going on politically on the streets and everything. That is around all of that. And when I look at the Republican candidates all over the state, right now,
Yeah.
everybody is in their own, what I call their own bubble, their own area. And what I've been doing for years is pretty much giving these little warnings
Yeah.
constantly about what's coming out of Denver, and no one really was taking it serious.
Right.
So, I am a different kind of candidate. I'm going to be just, I punch back, and I feel like you said, we've seen a lot of people just dance around,
Yes.
dance around subjects, and we need to be real.
Yep.
It's 2020. We've been losing this state since what, early 2000s.
Yep.
And so I'm pretty critical of leadership,
Yeah.
from the top. Just the whole Colorado GOP in general. I think that the playbook needs to be revised. It needs to be updated. I know principles are timeless with Republicans, and I'm not saying change the principles, but change the way you deliver that message.
Yeah.
And that needs to be updated.
Well, and the more and more people I engage with who have already served in office or who are currently running for office, I'm beginning to understand, and the picture's becoming a little more clear, that there is a swamp. There is a Colorado swamp of politicians who maybe they go in with the best intentions, maybe they go in initially, fired up for their constituents, but then they get sucked into this web of, I don't know what it would, because I haven't done my journalistic investigation yet as to what's pulling them away, but they lose the vision and they become almost a part of the swamp. They get sucked in. Would you agree or disagree, or maybe you don't?
I would absolutely agree. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not wrong with that, and it's unfortunate. And the longer that they do get sucked in, I guess their reach is smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you start talking about this idea of elitist.
Right.
And that's what they are now in both political parties. As a Republican, we can talk about, the Democrats have their elitist members and this and that sort, but Republicans also have the same thing.
Right.
And
right.
I just want everybody listening that, look, there is and I don't want to say it's a new kind of Republican,
Yeah.
but to them it'd be a new kind of Republican.
Yeah.
It's the Turning Point USA. It's the
Yes.
Prager U. It's the
Yes.
it's the youth. And I think a failure on Colorado Republican leadership in general is not reaching out at a younger age.
Yeah.
The high schools, the colleges, and that's why I respect, those Turning Point USA, the
Right.
people like Charlie Kirk, you have
Right.
Ben Shapiro, you have Candace Owens.
Yep.
These are the future leaders of this party,
Yeah.
and that's the direction I think Colorado should kind of take.
Yeah.
But it's just everything's just old school.
Yep.
Old school ways, and we need to start developing candidates prior to an election.
Yeah.
Not plug and play and
Yeah.
this and that. So
Okay, so before I get too carried away, because I will go down a rabbit hole and we'll be on a tangent and we'll spend a half hour,
yeah,
talking about the swamp.
it's easy to criticize. It definitely is easy to criticize.
And I will say that too. Like, it's easy for me to sit behind this camera and say, "Oh, this, and this," but what are we doing about it? I agree with you. So before we tackle Colorado politics, let's first set you up, man. Give us
Okay.
a little rundown of who you are, why you're running, and why we should vote for you.
Okay, absolutely. Well, first off, for more information about me, please visit jpwoodley.com. That's jpwoodley.com. You can find bio, work history, all those things, everything about me. And also, it's a great place for you to just press that contribution button and donate today. A little bit about myself. I really got into politics, more engaged, I would say, in 2016. That was my wake up moment. That was when the bubble that I love to talk about burst for me. From 2016 to 2017, I was deployed to the Middle East, and we did our missions, we did our thing. It was great, and that was the time when it was, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the presidential elections and everything. So I was able to see from a bird's eye view, from far, far away, what was happening to this country and the divide that was happening. And I didn't like it. I felt sad. And I started looking at what was going down in my state in general, and seeing that turning tide of the progressive leftist movement.
Yep.
And I really do not enjoy saying the word progressive and applying it to that movement, because it is anything but progressive. In many ways, they just keep setting us back.
Yeah.
So anytime anyone tells me that they're progressive and I tell them I'm a Republican, they're like, "Oh, you don't believe in moving forward." I said, just because I'm a Republican doesn't mean that I don't believe in progress.
Right.
I decided to jump right back in for House District 5. The reason I'm doing it, the reason I started doing it was actually very selfish. It was for me.
Yeah.
When I moved to Denver here 20 years ago, I imagined starting a family here.
Okay.
Right? I imagined having the kids, wife, the whole 9 yards, and doing that here. Now, I couldn't even think of wanting to raise a child where I live now.
Wow.
It's dramatically changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay, so what fired you up? What made you say, okay, I need to run? Was it that progressive agenda that you continue to see Colorado move towards?
it was
Quote unquote progressive.
exactly. I remember back in the day, and maybe you might remember this too. I say back in the day like it was like 50 years ago, but let's just say like 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Being in downtown Denver and seeing everything that was coming out of Boulder and laughing and just being like, People's Republic of Boulder. We all know that term. And now it's the People's Republic of Denver.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing what's going on in the street, and this is not a surprise to me.
I get down on Colorado a lot, but then I'm encouraged when I see candidates like you, Vanessa, Samantha, who are really engaged in their the local forefront and are doing something to change it. So thank you for encouraging me, my brother.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's I'll tell you this much, it's not easy.
Yeah.
One, being a conservative living downtown.
Yeah.
It's not easy being a conservative and owning a business downtown. It's not easy being a conservative and running for public office downtown in Denver in these huge progressive things. Mm-hmm. I do it because I have this mentality of it's a fearless mentality.
Yeah.
The only thing or the only entity, let's just say, I fear is God.
Yep.
I don't fear man. So I say that not to sound tough at all, but even signing with the military, once you sign that dotted line, you're already risking. You're already, saying, "Hey, I'm willing, not willing, but I know that there's a possibility of death."
Right.
And that's kind of how I'm treating these campaigns as well. I get the threats. I get the physical threats, the verbal threats, and I kind of roll my eyes at it.
Yeah.
Because the progressive left, what they like to do, and one of their big tactics is to try to intimidate, to try and bully.
Yeah.
And it works. It definitely works, especially towards the suburban kind of, the suburban areas. But it definitely, it doesn't work on me. So
Well,
I'm
thank God
willing.
for that. But do you feel like that's kind of where we were, and a big motivator of as to why you were saying, "Oh, I'm not going to sit back and allow this."
Yeah. I mean, it's a great quote, and I often quote Ronald Reagan,
Yeah,
especially out of the 1964 speech, which one of the greatest speeches ever. But we've been complacent, and people have been scared.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not easy to find anyone that is willing to even run in these progressive areas.
Yeah.
But it has to be done.
Okay.
Now, win or lose for me,
Right.
hopefully I could at least inspire
Yeah.
the next group that will run.
Which I would say you already have, man.
I hope so.
I'm one of them. I'm inspired, bro.
Thank you.
But that's their motto. That's like, okay, if you vote for us, it stops. As if we're the ones doing it, right? We're the ones strong-arming America.
Well,
So-
that's the thing. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And, any soldier could tell you, once you, for one, like, no ground to give.
Yeah.
I believe that 100%.
Right.
And every time that you just, anyone lets this happen, I don't mean let this happen, be like, oh, like destroy my house, light my house on fire kind of thing. I mean, anytime you keep giving that inch, right, they're going to keep taking more and more and more because they know. They know they can. All these riots that are happening in these in all over the country in these leftist
Democratic
cities,
ran states, just
ran
say
states.
it because it's the reality.
It is. You know that our enemies are looking. Are that's the way I think. It's a military thing. Our enemies are looking at us and being like, "Wow, it's that easy."
Yeah.
Right. So now we're susceptible to attacks, and not just from our general public, but from outside threats. So these riots are a national security risk.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
But these leftists, they don't think like that. They think very short term. They don't think.
Well,
of
and I'm even
consequence.
gonna stretch that and say, these are domestic enemies.
Oh, they're domestic terrorists, 100%.
Yeah, enemies, foreign and domestic, right? And it would seem that this new progressive leftist movement, they are anti-Constitution, they are anti, American Western civilization, and they want to kind of usher in this new Marxist, communist, I don't know what the heck it is, but
It's anarcho communism.
Okay. But are you hopeful though as to the direction the country's going in? Do you think there can be
With
an awakening?
Donald Trump, absolutely.
Well,
as
just
president,
even the political war, man.
no, we need. When I say we, I'm not just speaking as a Republican. I mean, even just anybody who has any sense of reason or logic.
Yeah.
Take away the D or the R part.
Yeah.
I want leaders.
Yes.
I don't want managers.
Yeah.
Drain the swamp, absolutely.
Yes.
Then I will be hopeful.
Yeah.
If we were to lose the Senate,
Yeah.
right, and not gain the House, if we lost Congress in general, now this is when I say we, the Republicans,
The Republican Party. Yeah.
we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
We're in big trouble. But the reason why I love Donald Trump as much as I do as president is because he's a man of action. Now, sure, he might Twitter this and say this.
I love it.
But look at what he's done. Before Donald Trump, you can look at the past, let's just say 10 presidents, 5 presidents, whatever, prior to Donald Trump. They've been figureheads. All they are figureheads.
Yeah.
And I see that different side of Trump, and it's impressive. And for someone to not vote for him, right? Because of he said something indecent to you,
Right.
Other than what he's been doing,
Yeah.
is beyond me. But
No.
Trump 2020.
Look at. Amen, bro. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a MAGA man. Let's vote him in.
But I'm not hiding.
No, I'm not either,
And,
man.
and I'm hoping
give me
know,
liberty or give me death.
exactly.
So that's where I'm at.
That's a risk that
Yeah.
I've always been willing to take.
Yep.
But you know what? I would love the message to get out.
Yeah.
To again, this is not even just to conservatives, to anybody.
Yeah, look at that camera, bro, because
With-
they got to understand this. This isn't about Republican or Democrat,
This
right?
isn't.
This is about freedom. Can you just look at them and say something?
This, like, look
Look at him, tell him.
It isn't. This is beyond. This is beyond the Democrats and Republicans.
Yes.
The reason why we're talking about Democrats so much is because all they do is they pander to wherever the wind or the tide is blowing. So Democrats that were, let's just say, even moderate in office are pandering to the far leftists just to get votes. So we're talking about, we can sit here and say this is the most important election that we've ever come across.
Yeah.
And a lot of ways it is.
Yes.
But we hear it every election, of course. But, we can't allow, the far left to get their way, to give in.
Right.
We can't give an inch, and that silent majority, I start getting frustrated with that term, silent majority.
Yeah.
Because, you need to stand up. Even if it risks, some of those comfortable luxuries you might have in your life. Stand up.
Yeah.
Say something.
Yeah.
Because, talking about it around the dinner table or even just making a comment on social media is not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. It's not going to do anything. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, me and a coworker talk about this regularly, and it's like, at what point will we be willing to quit our jobs and lose our houses for the sake of our freedoms? Because I do believe, there is a classism there, right? The middle class, we got our houses, we got our cars, we're making six figures, life is good, and in order for us to get involved, it's almost like we have to walk away from that. And I do believe that that's kind of where we're headed.
I think it's a myth, in my opinion. Now, for me, it's not a myth because in my mind, I feel like I'm pretty much blackballed in Denver after the city council race and then being a conservative, open and constantly attacking like the Candy C. Tobacco or I call him Tay Anderson. Yeah. But, when I'm attacking, criticizing, I'm not saying anything that's not true.
Right.
So
I mean, Phil came on the show, Phil Cavaruvius, and he flat out said, I had to walk away from a six-figure job to go make, $40,000 as a House district, representative, but he felt led in his convictions to do it because we were, like you're saying, we were leaning left, we were falling to that California agenda. So I guess that's my point. I think,
and I always say, if not me, then who?
Then who?
Because
you. Yeah. I want to know what you're gonna do because we're sending you in, right? You're our guy.
Well,
we're sending you in on a mission. How are we getting it done?
It's funny that you say that. So again, I'm a different kind of candidate. So I actually infiltrate a lot of these groups. Whether it's social media or in person. I go to their protests.
Yes.
Most of the time, you can't tell it's me.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to what they're saying, and then I'm reporting it right back out.
I love it.
If it were to ever escalate with me, I'm prepared for that.
Yes.
Which
is your God-given right.
Yep. Which I'm prepared. Yeah. I don't know if any of them are.
Yeah. I doubt it.
So I'm actually in the thick of it, in the trenches. That's what I've been doing.
That's awesome.
I don't know if any other candidate is willing to risk what I am.
Right.
But then again, I don't. Maybe I would have a different story if I was, had kids and.
Yeah.
But right now, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Everything to gain.
Right.
And
I'm
just hoping that the message gets out there. I mean, we talk about everything out of Denver, and let's just say prior to the last few months, I've been telling like Dougco, get a handle on this before it comes to to your doorstep.
Right.
You know, even in El Paso County,
Yep.
you're starting to see it kind of, you know, kill that. When I say kill that, I mean squash it. Like, get rid of this. And you know, we've been, as Republicans or conservatives in general, have been on the defense for almost 20 years,
Right.
just on the defensive.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we do need, you know, more innovative, more creative leadership.
Dude,
on that
I
level.
say this often on this show. They have awakened a sleeping giant. I believe that. We were asleep, right? We were living our lives. We were chasing our American dream. We were getting
Colorado?
our...
Are you talking about
I'm talking
Colorado
nationally. I'm talking Colorado. We were chasing our American dream, getting a slice of the pie, building our kingdom, 401ks. We coasted. We fell asleep.
Complacency.
Complacent. Meanwhile, this Trojan horse, right, came in with these radical Marxist, communist, leftist, indoctrinated, because I would say that's where it probably starts in the educational system. And bam, they infiltrated, and now we're like, oh my God, the house is on fire, and we're running.
And socialism in general is incremental.
Yeah.
And that's all that, you know, little by little, they've
True.
been getting a piece of that pie. But
Okay,
one
so
thing,
go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead.
you know, we've been losing Colorado because you read the book, The Blueprint, right?
Not yet, but it's on my radar.
You absolutely have to read this book.
I'm slacking.
It's literally what it is. It's a blueprint of how the Democrats pretty much took over Colorado and how they did it so quickly.
Yeah.
So you see the Democrats, and not all of them agree with each other, and they weren't. You know, they back then, but they were able to come together for one goal, and that was to put butts in seats.
Yeah.
They accomplished that.
Okay.
Republicans in Colorado still like to bicker on who's a better Republican, who's more righteous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a better Republican than you.
Yeah.
I agree with you 90% of the time, but because of that 10%, I'm not going to vote for you. So it is really like that. That's the reality of it, right? So we have El Paso County, and then we have Weld, right? And those are supposed to be our strongholds.
Yeah.
What we need to be doing, absolutely, is building the other areas too.
Yes.
Because all we're doing is concentrating on what's going on in the Springs or in Weld.
Yeah.
You know, Colorado's a huge state.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of young and up-and-coming conservatives out there, right? So don't neglect Denver.
Yeah.
That's 50,000 plus votes for Gardner or Trump.
Yeah.
Like, you know, put the money into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Develop the candidates for these areas.
Yeah.
We need to be running in every single race.
Right.
Not just, well, you know, they don't have a chance of winning. Well, you're bringing awareness, okay? And maybe the next election, you know, we'll start inspiring more people.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's a bunch of stuff.
Well, and you touched down on something, though, that I want to talk about. And Casper Stockham's been on the show a couple times.
Love Casper.
And he's talked about it. That, you know, that GOP, they kind of don't let their guy... If you're not a part of their guys, one of their guys, they're not willing to look at you. They're not willing to invest any money in you. Can you speak a little to this? I mean, is that a problem? Should our GOP, you know, be endorsing more candidates and not just who they feel like is their guy?
Well, absolutely. So I told you I ran for city council, right? And now I'm running, and by now in Denver, I would say I'm known as far as in the political being conservative, right?
Yeah.
Have I had any support from, you know, up top?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I would love for, you know, if I were to think about the future.
Yeah.
You know, once a candidate is past primaries, right, and it's like it's them versus the Democrat.
Yep.
You know, some sort of, hey, here's $5,000.
Right.
This will get you jump started.
Yeah.
But for a lot of us candidates, right, that maybe aren't in the, you know, because the Colorado GOP and the way all that works is, you know, they focus on races that can either are easy wins or borderline, you know, get them over the hump.
Yeah.
Mine is not an easy race at all.
Right.
You know, and any kind of support would have been great.
Yeah.
But you know, if it's like, I don't know, there isn't any support. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's no look for what a Republican is. They are people like me, right? They're people like Joe.
Yep.
They're people like Casper,
Come on.
right? They're gay. They have tattoos.
Yep.
They are normal people that believe in timeless, conservative principles.
Yes.
So reach out to them because we're not
Yeah.
doing a good job of it.
Colorado-wise, you'd like to kind of touch down on? And also district-wise, because we didn't even get to your district.
Oh, yeah. Well, real quick, my district is downtown Denver. So anybody who's probably even, you know, that will see this, or any of the viewers, has had some sort of stake into downtown. You know, look, it's basically, I want to clean up my city. I want opportunity for everyone. I want to see a solution for the homeless situation that we have there, which I do have a great solution. You know, I just want people to live their lives the way that they choose, the way that they see fit, to be free, to be yourself, and to have the government get out of my home. I want to see the schools teach children how to learn, how to think, and not what to think.
Yeah.
So the indoctrination has to go. I want to see back to education. I want to raise my children here knowing that I can put them in whatever school that I choose. That's best for them. And we need to drain the swamp. And that's on both sides.
Yeah. Colorado House District 5. Let's get this guy in here, man. He's a fighter. He loves Colorado. Let's get him in. Okay, so I got your sites pulled up here.
Okay.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start on your jpwoodley.com?
Yeah, jpwoodley.com is the
that.
website.
Bam.
This is you want to learn a little bit more about me, you'll find that. You'll find my previous history, and more importantly, you will find 2 places that you can make a contribution and donation today. Just takes 2 clicks, and you can donate 5, 10, 15, 20,
Where's that
400.
Is that on the Contact Us page?
Yeah, no, that's on the homepage. You can go straight up on the homepage. And
Oh, right there, look.
yeah, right up on the
Right there,
up on the bar.
folks.
Now, one thing, there was an article about me, and it's called I Don't Believe in Luck. And there are a few things that people tell me in life that are just formalities, and I see them as formalities. And good luck is one of them.
Yeah.
If I had $5 for every time someone said, well, good luck, in this campaign or the campaign before, I probably would have a pretty good chest.
Yeah.
But, you know, running in Denver, and all the candidates will tell you, being a candidate in Denver, it's difficult to raise funds. It's difficult to get these endorsements. The whole process of running as a conservative in these areas is difficult. Folks, this is not fun. You know, we don't do this because it's fun. We do it because no one else will, and we have the courage and bravery to do it.
Yeah.
So people like myself, people like Samantha, people like Doug Townsend and Bill McCabe, Denver has a great group of leaders, right? And I'm confident that they could win in other areas.
Amen.
If they so happen. So even if the Colorado GOP's, you know, looking at this, hey, like, recruit these guys, develop them.
Yep. All right, let me go to your Facebook page so people can go like. What's your Is it?
So it's Woodley for Denver.
There we go. That's the one I'm looking for.
So you just type in Woodley for Denver, or you can just go to facebook.com/JP Woodley #4.
Give him
Denver.
a like so you can follow. I mean, you've seen the commercial he dropped, and you did that, right? You edited all that.
Yeah, I made that myself.
That's your work. So you see he's got a creative side to him.
The Facebook page, Woodley for Denver, is where you will find the most up-to-date information.
Okay.
I do post regularly, fill in with local stories and state stories primarily. So anything that's going on, I'll usually get a quick beat on it, and then I'll post it.
Your final thoughts. Look at the camera and talk to CD5. Talk to Coloradans, man.
Well, my call to action is to not be the silent majority anymore. If you're not standing for something, then you'll fall for anything. Denver is worth saving, and I'm going to do everything that I can to do it. But I need your help. I need your support. And what I mean by support, no more good lucks. And if you can't donate, then volunteer. If you can't volunteer, then share a message.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, just say a prayer. But don't pray for me. Pray for Denver, pray for you, and pray for your family. Because those are the people that I am trying to protect. Those are the people that I'm trying to look out for. So just know with me, you'll get a protector of sorts that will protect the constitutional rights that I don't want to say are granted to us, but have been given to us by, our founding fathers. Let's not lose the principles of what made this country the country that it is today. And fight back. Just keep fighting.